So the discourse around Starfield has been a little hard to gauge. Personally, I'm really enjoying it, but that's really not what this video is about. During the early access period, impressions were really good, and during the launch week, that positivity kept going, but over the last week or so, Twitter has been insistent that this game is actually terrible and Bethesda sucks eggs, be it because the game isn't quite as expansive as people were hoping for, or because of the performance issues, which are completely valid criticisms. I'm not trying to put those people down at all, like, there's no denying that this game has been disappointing for some. And just for reference, the PC version of Starfield is currently sitting with a 5.6 user score on Metacritic, and a 77% approval rating on Steam. And like, ultimately that's not what this video is about, but I just think it's interesting. But overall, I think it's safe to say this game has done well for Xbox, both critically and financially. The game was reportedly played by over 6 million people by September 7th, just one day after the official launch. And while we don't know the exact breakdown on Game Pass to proper copies just yet, we do know that it's been doing fucking gangbusters on Steam, where it's a full $70. It's still the #1 paid game on Steam at the time that I'm recording this, and it's also comfortably sitting in the Steam top 10 in terms of concurrent players, which is always a big deal when a single player game achieves that, because most of the, the most played games on Steam will be games that exist on populated servers, obviously. We also have to remember just how many people bought the big collector's edition, so while I'm sure a decent percentage of that 6 million players was from Game Pass, this game has also sold at least a few million copies, and it's performing extremely well today. It's not really slowing down very much. And also remember that Starfield launched on a Wednesday for some reason, so the fact that it hit 6 million players in the middle of a work week before a decent chunk of the game's audience even got their copy, that's impressive. And this video isn't just to go over Starfield's sales numbers, and rather I want to establish this background so we can get into the meat of things, which is that there is still a segment of the internet that insists Starfield was a complete and total flop, because they absolutely cannot handle the fact that Xbox has a decent exclusive on their hands. So the other day, this tweet from Okami Games started making the rounds, stating, quote, "The numbers for Starfield on Steam are pretty impressive considering it's a full-priced game that's also on Game Pass. For perspective, Halo Infinite multiplayer, free-to-play, majority of PC players were likely on Steam, 272,000 peak concurrent users. Starfield, full-priced with $100 upgrade, available on Game Pass for $10 a month. Most played Bethesda title at launch, 330,000 peak concurrent users." And yes, these are impressive numbers given the circumstances. Starfield is a full-priced game, a brand new IP, a single-player game, and it's available on both Xbox and PC Game Pass. The fact that the paid Steam version is doing this well is extremely impressive. But apparently we're not allowed to talk about that in 2023 on the internet because of reasons, and this tweet quickly started getting a ton of negative attention from the usual suspects who will never accept that Microsoft is capable of competing with the great and gracious Sony. BB28 responds, "Only you, Benji, and the Xbox community find that impressive, Okami. I mean, they're not bad numbers, but nowhere near impressive." Yeah, if Xbox guys are the only people who find those numbers impressive, everyone else needs a reality check. 330,000 concurrent players for a full-price single-player game on Steam is super impressive. And then it's even more impressive when you factor in the Game Pass aspect of things, that you could have just played this game on Game Pass. And yet, tons of people are still paying the full $70, minimum $70. And that's just on PC. Plus, if you look at the Steam charts again, this game has already been played for over 20 million hours already. 20 million hours, and it's only been out for like a week. Again, just the Steam version. Genuinely, what is it going to take for you guys to just accept that people like this game? 45 responds, "Not very impressive, TBH," with a screenshot of one of the biggest PC game launches ever. Like, yeah, nothing is impressive if you compare it to literally the most impressive thing. Which is why if your muscles aren't as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, you're actually a massive pussy. Like, obviously, that's how this works, right? If you're not the absolute best at all times, you're not even worth talking about, so just fucking kill yourself. Bah ha 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 ha, you sure that's the comparison you want to make? I mean, yeah? Like, Halo Infinite fell off hard, no doubt about that, but it had an amazing launch. The reason why Infinite's downfall was so disappointing was because of its amazing launch. The game had a ton of potential, and that potential was recognized by basically everyone during its initial multiplayer run, and it was free to play, so the fact that Starfield has taken the lead over that is super impressive, because it's a full-price $70 game that doesn't exist on shared servers. Like, is that not a big accomplishment? No? Like we can talk all the shit we want about how Infinite fell off and how 343 is incompetent, but there's no denying that the initial launch numbers of the multiplayer were incredibly solid. And that absolutely should be the bar that Xbox tries to clear with all of their future first-party games. Aaron Davis replies, "Not that I care about Starfield at all, but comparing it to the dumpster fire that was Halo Infinite is not a good look. This screams as a tweet that you wanted the game to do better and have to act like everything is going great." Is that how this tweet reads? 'Cause I don't see that at all. He's comparing the latest first-party Xbox game launch to the most successful Xbox game launch of the generation. I really don't see how there's anything weird about that. Is this not what every fan does of every new game or franchise that comes out? Like, you compare it to the bar set by the franchise or company that by their like, how is this weird? You can try to revise history all you want. Nothing's gonna change the fact that Halo Infinite had a really promising start, and the numbers reflecting that are not gonna go away. Halo Infinite is a lesson in how not to maintain a game. It is not a lesson in how not to launch one. I really don't get all the revisionist history around Halo Infinite, since Starfield came out, because Infinite had incredible numbers at the start. It had a lot of positivity surrounding it. The issues with Halo Infinite were how it was maintained and how it was supported, or I guess not supported. It was not with how it launched. Halo Infinite is a dead game 2 years in. Why even cite that as an example? Lol. God, can you people not fucking read? He's talking about peak numbers. It's right there. He's not talking about the game 2 years after launch. This is so fucking weird. You guys are trying to dismiss his tweet by writing it off as a bad comparison, but then your evidence for it being a bad comparison is an even worse comparison. Like, why does this game trigger you guys so much? I don't get it. Danny on PC says, and it has pretty poor performance, even on high-end systems. See, that's true. That's true. The performance is pretty underwhelming. I don't think it's nearly as bad as some people have been making it out to be. Like, I personally haven't been having that many issues with it, but it's certainly not where it should be. See, that's an actual criticism. Everyone take notes. Take notes. Danny on PC here made an actual criticism. Everyone write "good job, Danny" in the comments. Good job, Danny. I want to see that at least 9 times in the comments, or you're all banned. God, like, it will never stop being hilarious to me how desperate people are to write off Starfield. And the thing is, Danny was on the right track here. There's plenty of criticisms you can make of Starfield, just like how there's plenty of criticisms you can make of any game. But to just blindly dismiss or deny the objective positivity of things like player counts or copies sold is just bizarre. Like, it's one thing to say, hey, I don't think that game deserves those numbers because of XYZ reason. But it's another thing entirely to be like, nah man, those numbers aren't actually good because I said so. Or like, nah bro, you pointed out that it did better than Halo, and Halo is dead now, so Starfield is also dead now. Like, I don't understand the fear that these people have towards a fucking Bethesda RPG. It will never make sense to me. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to actually playing games now, okay? I gotta jump back into my Starfield run. I'm playing as JoeFromSeattle because I'm a fucking loser. Okay, toodles.